Safiyya Traders Bookstore presents Social Justice in Islam. With its attack on feudalism and the emphasis on social justice as an Islamic imperative, Social Justice in Islam is perhaps the best known and the most widely read book written by Sayyid Qutb, a leading figure in the Muslim Brethren of Egypt, who was executed by Jamal Abdul Nasser in 1966. This book has attained the greatest fame, both because of its relative brevity and the general interest and relevance of its subject matter. From one point of view, social justice in Islam is to be evaluated as a document of the first post war decades in which Islamic movements and personalities were striving to demonstrate the imperative relevance of Islam to concrete socio-economic problems. Sayyid Qutb's refutation of Marxism often goes together with a critical evaluation of Christianity, presented as essentially an asceticism with no positive implications for worldly life and historically unable to modify Europe's legacy of pagan materialism. In this comparative context, Islam becomes the ideal mean, avoiding both the unrelieved materialism of Marxism and the otherworldliness of Christianity, and balancing the needs of the individual against those of society. This book, in particular, retains its relevance in many aspects. The persistence of gross socio-economic inequality in most Muslim societies, the need for viewing Islam as a totality, imperatively demanding comprehensive implementation, the depiction of the West as a neo-crusading force. Sayyid Qutb's insistence on the comprehensiveness of Islam as a worldview, civilization, and socio-economic order, his summons to cultural and educational reform, and the moral urgency underlying the whole of his book retain all the validity today, some 50 years after its first publication. To sum up, the book attempts to explain the following subject matters: religion and society in Christianity and in Islam, the nature of social justice in Islam, freedom of conscience, human equality, mutual responsibility in society as the foundations of social justice in Islam, the methods of social justice in Islam, political theory in Islam, economic theory in Islam, the historical reality of justice in Islam, the present state and the prospects of Islam. We exhort everyone, especially Muslims, to read this book as it's an indispensable prerequisite to have an acquaintance with social justice, the establishment of which stands out as the sole reason why prophets are sent to this world by Allah. For orders, contact Safiyya Traders Bookstore, Nagercoil.